Evening. It is Monday, May 14th. It is now 6:01 p.m. and I'll call the Auburn Board of Health meeting to order. Looking at the agenda, any items to add or delete?
No, the only thing that I'm going to modify is the minutes. You have the set of minutes for 3/26/18. The other two we will hold.
Okay.
And just based on previous meeting, we just want to ask if anybody's recording the meeting. Or anybody in the audience recording the meeting, because I think that was brought up previously.
Oh. Is anyone in the audience recording this meeting? Thank you. Okay. It is, of course, recorded through public access, but...
It is.
All right. I'm just going to maybe add a point of discussion. I never did get back to you. It's just something I wanted to just talk about to see if we can go anywhere with it. I'm not sure there is, but I'll just add that under discussion.
Beautiful.
Did you get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yeah. Make a motion to accept the minutes for Monday, March 26, 2018.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move into hearings. We have 3 hearings scheduled at 6 p.m. The first one in regards to rabies exempt request letter for 17 South Street. Open this hearing at this time. Do you have any evidence to present?
Sure. I would like to invite our Animal Control Officer, Amy Contois, is present at the meeting, and she can cover the 3 exemption request letters. Well, obviously, we can take one at a time.
Thank you. So the first property, 17 South Street, you do have in your packet a letter from the regular veterinarian. So this letter is regarding 2 dogs at one property, 17 South Street. Rocco, an 11-year-old neutered Yorkshire Terrier, and Maggie May, a 12-year-old spayed female Yorkshire Terrier. And it's of the opinion of the veterinarian Kenneth DeTora of Hillside Vet Clinic right here in town, that the 2 dogs at this stage in their life are not healthy enough to receive the rabies vaccine. It's identified that the dog, the male, neutered male Rocco, has diabetes and congestive heart disease, and it was also indicated by the owners that with the diabetes he's insulin dependent and also blind. And that Maggie is also under watch for congestive heart disease, and also her previous vaccine, she reacted with a seizure. So she did have a pretty bad reaction to that vaccination, and it was the vet's opinion that it's not appropriate to continue vaccination protocol with those two dogs. According to the records that we have on file for both dogs, Maggie May was last vaccinated against rabies in 2015 with a 3-year vaccine that was good until this year. And Rocco was vaccinated also in 2015, good until the later half of this year. So they do have a history of receiving the vaccine. And with speaking with the family, these two dogs are mostly kept inside the home. They're senior dogs that have health concerns that they don't really take them out many places except to other family homes. So they're not interacting with other animals. They're supervised if they're outside and supervised when they're with other people as well.
No problems with these dogs on history?
No.
Any concerns?
No history with the property, the dogs, or the owners.
Anyone in the audience here with any additional evidence in this regard? Any further discussion?
Okay. I'll make a motion then to,
I'm going to close the...
I'll make a motion to close the
Discussion.
evidentiary and discussion portion of
I'll
this hearing.
second that. All in favor?
Aye.
If I may,
Yes.
I believe the animal control officer may have a recommendation if
Okay.
if you want
Yes.
it regarding these
Okay.
requests.
So my recommendation based on the evidence presented by the vet would be to accept the rabies exemption status for both Rocco and Maggie May, and to accept that exemption for the remaining lifetime of the animals
Without any conditions?
without conditions.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to accept the animal control's recommendation to make Maggie May and Rocco at 17 South Street exempt from the vaccination of rabies at this time and for their lifetime.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to close the hearing.
Make a motion to close the
And I'll
hearing.
second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Second hearing now would be Teddy on 17 Manor Road.
7 minutes.
Seven
I'm sorry,
Manor, yeah.
7 Manor Road.
Thank you. So Teddy is also seen by Kenneth Totora of Hillside Vet Clinic in town. Dr. Totora did identify in the letter that Teddy has had past anaphylactic reactions to the rabies vaccine. So based on that, and also congestive heart disease, again, this is another senior dog, he's 10 years old, neutered male Pomeranian, that it was the vet's recommendation to not continue with the rabies vaccines because of the current health status and because of the reaction to the vaccine. And with Teddy as well, according to our records, he was vaccinated in 2017 was the latest vaccine that was good until 2018. So he was current up until April. And again, no history of issues with this property, with this dog, with the owners. It's another case where the dog doesn't leave the property. The dogs at this property, I guess, are PPAD trained, so they're not left outside unattended. They really just go visit family with the dogs, so they're not interacting with strangers and strange animals or wildlife.
Recommendations?
My recommendation would be to accept the rabies exemption for the lifetime of the dog.
Anyone in the audience have any further evidence to present in regards to Teddy on 7 Manor Road?
At this point, I'd like to make a motion to close the discussion and evidentiary portion of the hearing.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
And we have a
This
motion
portion, I'd like to make a motion to accept the rabies exemption for Teddy, neutered male Pomeranian at 7 Manor Road for the lifetime.
I'll second that.
All-
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And to close?
And I will make a motion to close.
I'll second that. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I had another one here. This is in regards to an open hearing on Bertie Bickus of 101A Elm Street.
Thank you. So this is another rabies exemption request that we received. This letter came from Dr. Cindy McGinn of Home Care Veterinary Services for one of the dogs in a household that's been under her care. You'll have the original letter and then also an email from Dr. McGinn explaining the letter a little bit more in depth. So she did identify that Bertie has been under her care and over the past several months has been in failing health due to degenerative diseases and also cancer. So she believes at this point that Bertie, who's a 10-year-old St. Bernard, so a large breed dog, that she doesn't believe he's healthy enough to receive the vaccine. And with Bertie, the last vaccine we have on record was a vaccine in 2017 with an expiration of 2018. And again, another instance where we haven't had any previous issues at this property with the dogs there, with anything like that.
Okay, recommendations?
My recommendation would be to accept the rabies exemption for the lifetime of Bertie.
Does anyone in the audience have any further comments or evidence to present?
Just Bertie's my baby.
I'm sorry, for our record, could you state your name?
Oh,
please?
Sari Biddix,
Thank you.
101A Elm Street.
Thank you.
Bertie is the oldest St. Bernard I've ever had. And the breeder is amazed he's still alive. It looks a little like his kidneys are going. And the vet just doesn't want to push anything else into him, to push him out any sooner than the Lord wants him to go.
Any other evidence or comments to be made? Questions?
At this point, I'd like to make a motion to close the discussion and evidentiary portion of the hearing.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye. And at this point, I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation for exemption for rabies, exemption for Bertie Bicks for the lifetime of Bertie Bicks' life.
I'll second.
All in
Sorry.
favor? Sorry.
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a motion to close?
Aye. Thank you. Make a motion to close.
Yeah, the hearing. Thank you, and I'll second that. Thank you. Status update, 10 Stone Street. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
I think we're right at 6:15. So I wanted to let you know that I think in your packets you have a copy of a letter for concern from the neighborhood petition, if you will, for the property at 10 Stone Street. So 10 Stone Street, as you may recall, is a property that we have been working on. It is a vacant property. There is a owner involved, however, the owner really has been non-responsive for the requirements for what we have sent. This property has been in severe disrepair for quite some time. I was out at the property recently, and it seems that over the winter, the property has gone more into deterioration. We have some pictures here to kind of give you an idea of what state it's in. These were taken within the past 2 weeks. So the property has been boarded by the DPW, and the roof is completely worn to the point where the shingles are just falling off, and I think blowing into other neighbors' yards, which is causing a problem. The yard has debris and equipment and so forth in it. It's actually not severely overgrown, but there is a lot of debris in the yard. So understandable, this will kind of give you an idea of, or just refresh your memory on what the property looks like. So I wanted to obviously bring to your attention that we did get inquiry from the neighbors. The property has been in that state for a long time. How we got involved was we were called, I believe, by the fire department about 2 years ago. We had been contacted by the fire department for concern of living conditions within the home. So they had identified that we had got in contact with the owner, and the owner allowed access for building and Board of Health. The interior of the property has structural concerns, so both the building commissioner and myself have been inside.
This was a year ago? Or
No,
have
this
you been
is-
inside recently?
No,
Okay.
no.
But these
No, the
outside
building
pictures
commissioner,
are...
yeah, he won't allow
Okay.
anybody to go inside. But these are current pictures. So I wanted to let you know that we are working with the AG on this. We had some progress in the fall. Obviously, over the winter, it has gone more severely in disrepair. However, we have quite a few of these properties, so trying to obviously handle the requests and complaints can get excessive. So I can tell you that I believe that the AG can help us with getting a receiver, but that was the last time we had contact with them. So we have reached out to the AG and ready to obviously move forward to see what they can help with. And this is in a number of other properties that we've received complaints on for the spring. It's not something that we're not aware of. It's just a matter of trying to make headway, identifying who the responsible owner is. Sometimes it's an owner, sometimes it's a bank, sometimes it's a property management company. So it's just trying to figure out what the next steps are.
So is there an identifiable owner then?
There
on this
is,
property?
yes.
It's not in probate or anything?
No, this is
Okay.
not. So we do have an owner. Like I said, he has been non-responsive in the past, but we will continue to try to move forward. And I just wanted to bring to your attention that we did receive the petition, and certainly I will keep you updated at the next meeting as to what progress. We do have complaints on other vacant properties in town, and I can tell you, when we get the complaints, we do go out and try to assess what the most important things are at that time. In the past, this property, we had concerns about getting into the property. Thank you. But this is something that obviously we've taken some steps towards making it, trying to mitigate some of the issues.
Yeah.
But obviously there's a lot of work here.
Right. Was the owner compliant with the original letter of conditions, the orders that we placed last year?
I have to tell you, the owner was cooperative with me and the building commissioner personally. He didn't have to allow access, obviously he did.
Right.
And it was something that did help us move forward for his safety.
Okay.
So we
Great.
have made steps forward.
Yeah.
I know the condition of the property has been like that for a long time
Right.
before we ever got involved. So I think that it's it's definitely a valid concern of the neighbors. I don't, I certainly can appreciate it, and just as the board, I want to let you know kind of where we're at, to try to explore all options of what we can do. So this is the current state. I wanted to give you a status update. We have other properties also that we're working on, and both myself and Eileen, keep track of them and try to make forward movement with every action. But they take a lot of time, and it is something that a lot of financial obligations too, obviously, trying to get the owner to address those.
Okay. I want to ask you 3 questions in regards to this letter that was presented from the neighbors.
Yes, sir.
Are there any hazardous materials that were not removed from that property?
The hazardous materials, to my knowledge, there's no hazardous materials outside the property. There were some like cleaning chemicals within the property,
Okay.
but I'm not aware of hazardous materials outside the property.
I wonder if they were just, there was like paint cans. I wonder if that's just what they were.
I do,
Yeah.
there are some paint cans there.
Oh, yeah, I don't know, you can't tell if they're full or not. They were just,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Obviously, there's a lot of debris around the area. I'm not sure even if it's a Board of Health jurisdiction to worry about the fire risk of the property, but the load of pallets up against the back of the house.
And that's a great question. I have been in contact with the fire department on that issue. I think it was last year that I think we had the fire department, because that
Right.
was brought up previously, and certainly we explored that.
Right.
We don't want there to be something that, if the fire department has jurisdiction over, that
Right,
we're not
right.
asking. So we did explore that option, and at that time, it was not an issue.
Okay. The abandoned car in the front lawn?
The car is, I think I took a picture in one of
Right.
these. So there is a car on the front lawn. It does not have a license plate. However, it's not on wheels, as you can see. So that, if the owner of the property wanted to have a car that was unregistered, that actually goes through the Board of Selectmen. I believe
Okay.
they're allowed one,
Okay.
but with permission of Selectmen.
Board of Selectmen. And then the
But
third...
just, I don't want to mislead, there is a lot of debris within this car. So it's not like it's a car just parked.
Right.
There is a lot of debris inside the car.
Okay. But nothing hazardous from what you can see?
No, not,
Okay.
it's mostly like paper, office supplies,
Okay.
that sort of personal belongings. That's what I viewed inside.
And the other item here, according to this letter, asphalt shingles blowing. I don't know if those are from the pile of shingles that was on the ground,
There is a
or if they're
pile.
falling off the roof,
I,
as well as the bay window, and the neighbor's concern that it's about to, ready to come down.
so I definitely have seen the shingles, the roof shingles coming off of the roof. There's definitely shingles around the yard. So that definitely, I wouldn't question that at all. I definitely think there's probably shingles that are probably
Right.
blowing around.
Structurally, is there any further deterioration? I'm just worried about the bay window, and one wall of this house is almost ready to come down. Unless the neighbor writing this letter is a structural engineer, do you see any concern of any imminent life hazard if the structure was to collapse, or is it?
I guess I would have the building commissioner provide an assessment on structurally. I mean, obviously, the last time we were in it, we saw concerns, and so
Right.
the town took steps
Right.
to get that boarded, so that people aren't able to
Right.
to enter. So the
Right.
town did take steps once they saw an imminent threat. So that's why that
The board
action
and secure
happened.
that we did.
Right,
correct.
exactly. I'm not going to say that since the fall to now,
Right.
in going through a winter
Yeah.
season, that it hasn't caused more damage.
Yeah.
You know, I believe there is a hole in the roof, so obviously that's going to allow water into the structure to further deteriorate, but I'm telling you, the building commissioner's not gonna let anybody go in there,
Right, right.
you know, not without his authority.
My concern is if someone was to trespass and be near the house, is there a risk of this structure collapsing on them? Beyond board and secure, do we need to order, if we even have the jurisdiction, to order a fence to be put up around the structure?
It's something I can certainly
If you-
explore
Yeah,
that
if you
with
wouldn't mind discussing
building
it with the
department. Sure.
building department.
Absolutely.
And again, I don't know if that's a Board of Health
Mm-hmm.
jurisdiction to order a 6-foot chain link fence around this structure. I
I-
understand that it's a constant challenge working with these properties, and the AG program, I think, is a great program that I think we've had success in some of the buildings in the town already.
We have.
And the legal process is a long, slow process. So I just want to be sure that while you're continually working through that process, that we don't miss any substantial risk to the public health and safety. And again, if this is a fire department jurisdiction, a police jurisdiction, a selectman jurisdiction, or if it comes to our table, I want to be able to do what we have to do to I'd hate to have to think of putting a 6-foot chain link fence around this structure, but if this building is going to come down,
I think your question is definitely a fair one, and I think that this has been something that both Board of Health and Building have been working together
Right,
side by
right,
side
right.
on it. I think it makes sense to explore whether or not that's something that's
Right.
needed at this time. So I'm more than willing to work with the building commissioner to see if there's any action that we need to take in the meantime while we're working towards a resolution.
awesome, thank you.
Okay, and then just there's one other thing on this request letter that I just wanted to point out, that I'm not aware. They had referenced 2 abandoned houses on the street. I don't have any other complaints for another abandoned house
Okay.
on the street, so I just wanted to be clear.
Okay.
We obviously do know 10 Stone Street. We are very well versed in it, and moving towards hopefully a resolution that
Okay.
is going to make the structure safer and for everybody involved, a better situation. But we have not responded to another abandoned
Okay.
complaint
So
on
there's
that
nothing
street.
on file for that?
Not
Okay.
not to my knowledge.
Okay,
I
that was going to be a question, but thank you.
yeah, I just wanted to let you know, just so we're not missing, you know,
Okay.
I'm not
So
missing any update to you.
if the neighbors are feeling that there's a second house on the street, then somebody should bring it to our attention.
Right, if there's
If
there's complaints at another property, I'm not
Yeah,
aware of
We
it.
don't know. Okay. Thank you. While we're in discussions, I'll just bring up just a brief piece of information that I came across recently, and it's something that I had very difficult time finding any substantial information in the Mass DPH website. It was a program put on at my daughter's college about adverse effects of early childhood experiences. It's called the ACE study. It was a study put on, have you heard of that?
Yes, I have.
Through the CDC in Kaiser Permanente. There was like
Yes.
17,000 people, and this was done in the late 90s, I believe. And through this presentation, they were kind of flagging it as the biggest public health crisis that we are facing. And I've done some literature review trying to find more information, if there's even any type of impact that we could have as a local Board of Health. Is there any programs that we could put together as a Board of Health? And I've been hard to find any specific program that as a local Board of Health that we could actually look into. It seems to be more something that would be more in line of a pediatrics office, more in the school department, to be working on that. I don't, kind of thinking about the opioid crisis too, and a lot of discussion at the State House and through at least my local senator and rep would be treating those that have the problem. But I've never really come across anybody talking about getting the problem before it's a problem. And that's, with the kids, the younger kids. So I just kind of, I'm interested to hear that you've actually heard of the ACE study.
Well, and the reason I have is because I'm a court-appointed advocate for children in foster care.
Okay.
So that was part of my training. We talk about how, childhood events can cause severe stress and follow them the rest of their lives.
And not only emotionally,
Yes.
psychiatrically, but physically.
Yes.
With
yes.
the higher incidence of heart disease, cancer,
Yes,
asthma,
because
obesity, and
that constant
everything.
cortisol and that fight and flight effect,
So,
yes.
I
yes.
just wanted to kind of bring it up. It's wonderful
Yes.
that you've actually come across it. It's not like I have hours a day to be, doing
yeah.
lit review and everything, but as a
Yes.
work program or something that maybe we can look at trying to implement if we have to. Years ago, we used to have a consortium, public health consortium with the pediatrics, the school department.
One of the things I read about that they're doing actually, like in schools and stuff, is even, there's a big push for like mindfulness and kind of deep breathing and stuff like that, is even working with kids,
Right.
younger kids even, to
And
do
that was one of the interventions that, at least this pediatric clinic out in San Francisco, that kind of really took this and ran with it as one of the things they were doing. So I just wanted to sort of present it. It's great you've heard about it. If you have time to think about it.
Yeah.
Is there something
Yeah.
as a local board that we can do?
Yeah.
I'd like to be a little more proactive in the community,
Okay.
but we've kind of been muddling through the last few
All right.
few years, I think. So,
Would it help for raising awareness about it? I mean, until you had mentioned it, it's not something that I had heard of.
Right.
But
Oh,
even
that's
the
a good
opportunity for, like, different things that come up that the board feels strongly about, we have opportunities year-round
Mhm.
to do educational.
Right.
Even if we were to have a table at one of the fairs, we have the Concert Common coming up. We have a number of like Business and Health Expo. I mean, we have things year-round
Okay.
that we can highlight. And I mean, obviously, Eileen and I, come to you and let you know this is what we're thinking, kind of get some feedback. But if
Yeah.
it's something that you feel like you'd like to at least bring up the topic so somebody has actually heard of it,
Right.
and then maybe identify anybody in maybe the Worcester County that may offer some resources for
Right.
helping. I think sometimes a problem is a problem unless people know where do you go for the solution.
mhm.
And I don't know that you can solve everybody's problem, but at least if you can offer some
Right, right.
a direction.
And I'm kind of curious also, I have not reached out with any of our community partners, the school department.
Auburn Youth and Family Services, Sally D'Angelo, I don't mind calling her. She works with a lot of interns, college interns, and they come in and do clinicianal work
Yep.
through her all year and then all summer.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me if, because just you're saying it was at your daughter's college,
Right.
it wouldn't, based on some of the clientele and the youth they're working with,
Right.
it wouldn't surprise me if she may have a little background or have someone that is doing
Right.
some type of study within that we might be able to bring into the community
Right.
by some of the outlets that Darlene mentioned we have.
Yeah. And again, that's where I see the primary, from the literature I've read so far, it would be programs that are set up in organizations such as Auburn Youth and Family Service, such as Child Health Associates through the school department. Those I would see as our community partners that are primary. I mean, some communities, it goes even as far as including the police department. Some of the statistics that I've read about the reduction and the cost savings for the communities is outstanding from these states that have actually implemented programs. So,
I mean, I'm open
yeah,
to,
yeah,
I mean, Eileen has gone to Auburn Youth and Family Service, I think in the fall, right? We did a program there for emergency preparedness in September.
Carolyn and I had, the year before, we did
Healthy eating.
a healthy eating for their interns, and so that they could get some credit for an in-session.
sure.
And that's how we learned about all the programs that their interns are there doing. I certainly, I don't mind reaching out, and
Okay.
seeing if they have heard of this. I mean, I'll do a little research on my own first, and
And again, kind of brainstorming.
Yeah,
Is there
yeah.
something that we can assist with implementing in the town? If it's
Yeah.
not actually already something that they're doing, I really don't know. They may actually have some sort of program based on this this study. So
And we can check with the, school nurse team too, because we're in constant contact with them as well.
yeah.
And see if
Right.
maybe they're already doing something
Right.
that
And-
we can piggyback on, see if they need an extra set of hands,
Okay.
or I think, again, maybe just awareness.
Yeah,
Find
yeah.
something that you really like and you want to have us distribute it at an upcoming community
And
event.
I think that's great, because if our community partners are actually already working with things like this, to get that information out to the parents.
Right.
And then maybe the parents can bring it to their pediatricians, or as an extra, the more you know kind of thing. So again, it's the Adverse Childhood Experience Study, the ACE study that was done late 90s with the CDC Department of Epidemiology in Kaiser Permanente. It's new science, so it may not have major implications, but I found it very interesting.
I think you're right with the pediatrician's office, because the child would need to be identified.
Right.
So I think it needs to start somewhere so they're identified to enter into these programs. It's not going to be a program that you're going to take 30 kids in preschool because only 2 or 3 of them might be identified as needing.
The state of Washington made this actually part of the preschool K program, and they brought in drama therapists, and it was like across the board, and it was like no singling kids out. But it was a remarkable program, and this was just through this presentation at Quinsigamond Community College.
Like recently, the state of Washington?
It's been running over 10 years, because in a 10-year period, it was a significant amount of money that the states, county by county,
Well,
were showing as a savings. And I can't quote the numbers, it was a significant amount, and I can't say, were they measuring the opportunity costs, the costs that they did not expend? Because the reduction in juvenile arrests, the reduction in emergency room visits, the reduction in, so I can't really say how they came up with these figures, but it was a significant number. And again, looking at it from a state perspective, it's one thing. My question is there anything we can do as a local Board of Health? So it's kind of just one of those projects that kind of piqued my interest and see if there's anything that we can do locally, even if it's just having some brochures or flyers. I've read the literature. I haven't actually gone to CDC to see if they have brochures on the program.
You know, when I go visit one of the sign girls, sometimes we do like some yoga poses and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me bring that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that, we can move into director's items.
Okay. So we have, we are in septic and well season full force. We have, with the weather breaking, we're working on several projects. The housing update, we are, I know we are very busy with housing complaints. Obviously, I think I alluded to some of the vacant properties now that the nicer weather is here, and I know we have several other properties under orders. The animal control, Amy was going to give a clinic update. We had the Cinco de Mayo clinic that was recently, so Amy was going to share some of the numbers.
Sure, thank you. It was a very successful vaccine and microchipping clinic. We had a line already starting up before 10 o'clock. People like to come bright and early. So in total, we had 75 animals that were treated, and it was 28 cats and 47 dogs, so there's a very good amount. And a total of 65 rabies vaccines were administered. So there are rabies vaccines, distemper, and microchipping available. So we're very happy to be able to provide that to people from the community. We even had people from other towns showing up. There was one person that I do know came from Douglas to be able to attend the clinic and take advantage of the low-cost services that we were able to bring into town. So.
Amy also did do licensing for...
Yeah, we had licensing available as well. So people, it was a one-stop shop. They could get their vaccines, come right over with their new certificate, and we could do everything electronically on the iPads and then hand them their tags.
Excellent.
So.
Thank you. A lot of work putting things like that together.
So we lucked out. I mean, the weather really
Yeah, it
did
was a good
cooperate.
Good.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good day.
We've had it in the rain too. It's
Not
better
as
when it's
enjoyable.
dry.
People do show up in the rain, but it keeps the crowd a little bit happier when there's some
Yeah,
sun.
true.
I wanted to just let you know the leaf pickup. We just had the third leaf pickup, and we have one more this coming Saturday. And we also have, for the Household Hazardous Waste Day, is scheduled for Saturday, July 28th. That's going to be at the Horgan Ice Arena, where we've had it in years past. The Ice Arena was very gracious to let us use that spot. I think we've had it there at least, I think at least 3 to 4 times before now. I think I've been involved at least 3. So we have that every 2 years, and we have that scheduled for that day. It's going to be from 9 to 12, and that is free for Auburn residents. It's only for Auburn residents, but it is a free event that we're proud to be able to offer. We are working on trying to raise awareness. We continue to do this for textile recycling. So I think you can drive around town and you see those boxes are chock full. Eileen has been really, really on top of things about trying to make sure as soon as she sees any sort of bag that's overflowing, she's calling the companies to be able to get those picked up. So we are trying to stay on top of the donation boxes, but that is something that again takes some time. So we, hope to be able to find a way to control that in a better way. For Central Mass Mosquito Control, we've actually been pretty busy on that front as well. So they have started their program, I think I mentioned that previously, and they are already accepting requests for people that want to have their property sprayed or, on the flip side, exempted. So people can do that right through Central Mass Mosquito Control. We've had a number of pools for, pools that might be at a vacant property. We've had treated, and just wanted to kind of bring your awareness about the program is an awesome one. Not every town has this type of program, so we're fortunate to be able to offer this as a community service. And I can tell you the representatives that we work with they're excellent. For emergency preparedness, so at the last meeting, we had Eileen as another rep for the Region 2. So Eileen is working on emergency preparedness and attending those meetings to assist. And we just had one actually last week, and this is the time of year where we're always looking at what the deliverables are. I think you remember we did the EDS drill in the winter, and we know that we'll have to do another one this coming year. So we're looking to see what signage we may need, anything that we may need to update in the trailer. Just wanted to let you know on that front. Flu season, we don't have any update on that. Office update, I did want to let you know, so we are literally, we've transformed the office area over the past several months since the winter time, and we're nearing the finish. So we had some new carpet put down just over the weekend, and we're finalizing small things now. So we hope to be able to have everything done very soon. But the DPW did outstanding job. All of the labor was done in-house by our own town staff. It's unbelievable. They put up walls and partitions that you'd never know were brand new because they blended it into the historical character of the rest of the building. So we're very grateful to have that. Communicable disease. Paula, do you have that? Do we have the report?
It's in the...
Oh, okay. So we can.
The Maven report.
Yeah, the Maven report.
Yeah.
I think we have.
That's why, yeah. You have that file?
Okay. We'll have to bring that for you for the next meeting.
You want me to run down and see?
That's okay. We can bring it to the board for the notes. And then as far as, we do have just a couple of updates for, Eileen and Jordan have been busy on some temporary food events that are going to be coming up. So just wanted to give you an update on that.
We've had have had already a lot of temporary food events for this month. We're doing Earth Day at Swanson Elementary School, so they're having a food truck. We're also doing recycle over there. Our bike nights have started at Sheldon's and Halligan's, and we also have a third, the Legion, and they're going to go from June until September. So we have Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and they're alternate weeks. They're like every other week. So we won't have to go to all of the events, just a sampling of them. But it's over 4 months, so we'll have a lot to go to. We have a big potential event for the end of June, but our biggest event is always Independence Day. We've started on that already. The vendors will start coming in, and that's on July 1st. It's a Sunday this year. We have the flea markets and the farmers market starting up. That's one of the places that we also try to have a table as often as we're available. We're adding the flea market craft fair, the rec and culture department is, so that's going to be on the second Sunday of the month. The fourth Sunday is the farmers market. So we do have 2 available outlets if we did want to have a Board of Health table, and try to do, you know, different things. We've done the rain barrel, we've done the composting, we've done emergency preparedness. It would be nice to do a couple health items as well. I think in the late fall we did some of the Central Mass mosquito information and got that out to people. We have, our seasonals are open, so Ronnie's is open, Crystal Caves is open, Coco's is open, and actually all of them, Jordan did open the seasonals, so that was a lot for her to take on and to learn. There's so much that goes into seasonals versus regular year-round restaurants. And we have our first ice cream truck, and it's the only truck that's licensed, and that's Richie's Ice Cream, so that'll be around town. At the same time, we have camp. It's not really as much food related, but that we spend a lot of time on that, and we're just getting up and ready for that. We have a couple potential new openings, but repurposing of places, someone that may go in the mall, you know, nothing that's actually new to town, but the establishments are there and just vacant. And I think that's it, other than our regular. We do have a lot. It's the time of the year where people do customer appreciation. If they're catered, that's a little easier, but if they're doing a customer appreciation and they're a non-food establishment, Jordan's working hard to put that together to make sure they serve the food safely if they're serving the public. We have a few that are just to an employee, and that really, we just help them with guidance documents, you know, on how to prepare the food and keep it at good temperature so that no one gets sick. But it's a very, very busy time because every day a new temporary event comes in, so it started. Summer is off to a bang. And that's about it.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we do have some opportunities for fairs, for the concert on the common, for the farmers market, so we could do different, you know, different educational pieces. Obviously, we welcome your help as well, you know, I mean, even if you want to come to one or switch off, you know, we typically try to cover as many as possible, but we can't go to every weekend thing, so to have, you know, your help, you can sometimes get the table there, get a tablecloth. We have a really nice Board of Health, the banner, you know, we can get that all set up. I can drop it off, but
These are Sunday mornings?
when's the farmers market?
They usually start around 10. I think typically last year they're starting at 10. I don't know if she's changing her hours, but they are on Sundays. The farmers market actually was a really family fun day. They had music and book reading and some vendors for food, and then the different vendors that did the fruits and vegetables and
Where are they doing that?
Pappas, at Pappas.
Okay.
And so the flea market is new this year. It's a flea market / craft fair. So that's a little bit new, but I have had some calls on people that are interested on the food part of it. I don't know where Kristen is for the other vendor part of it, but you know, they thought they'd try something new, and hopefully you know, it will be well attended and have vendors. But they're both on Sundays.
And then we also have, like, obviously Sunday, everybody's weekend is always kind of thin, but we also have the concert on the common, which is
Thursdays.
Thursday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thursdays at 6:30 to 8:30 or 6 to 8? 6 to 8. I think it's somewhere in, so it's a 2-hour spot in that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really fun, I know
Yeah.
Carolyn's done it before. It's kind of nice because people are relaxed.
Yeah.
You have the music going on. There's sometimes, I think there's an ice cream truck. There's people doing fun things, so you can set up a table and sometimes just chit chat with people and just spark
Okay.
conversation, you know, so
Okay.
that one might be a little easier for you rather than commit to a Sunday, you know,
Right.
I mean, again, if everybody does a little bit, it's not
Right.
so
Okay.
heavy. So we're open to anything, and you let us know,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
And I don't think we have anything else.
Dates.
So I did put in for the next meeting, I know this is the time of year we kind of do summer schedule. I know
Yeah.
we've kind of been, you know, the board has been very open to meeting more often when we need to, and then obviously going to, you know, once a month. I know we've had a number of things where we've had to have you come in more often, and you find a way to do that, so I appreciate that. But we also, you know, we can kind of look at other, it's not uncommon for us to meet once a month during, you know, through the summer,
Okay.
if that's something that you're, and obviously if we have an emergency, we can meet
Right.
more often.
Um,
We can also do this, I just happened to pick the second Monday, but it seems to be working well, if you're okay with it, to have Paula send out an email to try to coordinate what works best. Does that sound okay?
Sounds good.
Yep.
I'm a little unsure. I usually request my Mondays off. There are some, like now that I'm doing the 2nd, 4th for sure, but I'm coming home from vacation that Saturday, so I have to deal with work,
Okay.
pay the piper.
Yeah, yeah,
But, you know, right now it looks open until my work schedule gets posted.
that's fine. Well, here's the other thing too. Yeah, we have a standing reservation for this room for the 2nd and the 4th Mondays. If you want to do a different, you know, say that Monday is problematic, and you want to do another day during the week,
Yeah.
Paula, we're open to doing that, but Paula just checks to make sure the room, whether or not that's booked.
Sure.
We're so tight on space that it's like, space is gold. So we just have to make sure that we have meeting space open in order for us to have a meeting. So whatever, again, don't feel like, oh, if I can't meet that Monday,
Right,
we're open
right.
to switching it up, whatever meets your needs.
Okay. Well, pencil me in for the 11th. How about you?
Yep, right now the 11th.
Okay.
is good,
Okay.
yeah.
Great, thank you.
And check with Eric and we'll
Yep.
go from there.
Okay, so we'll have, Paul will send that out.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn?
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye.
Thank you.